You were not invited here. You pushed your way onto this station.
I am not.
You were not invited here. I was. You were the one who screamed and yelled like a little brat and said, "You have to put me on this show with this atheist."
I cannot believe that this is being said, Tom.
Well, that's the way it was presented to me.
It's interesting, Tom. This is the 7th time I've been on KFYI. I am a fairly regular guest here, and it's amazing that Mr. Lynch would say that because it's completely untrue. But I refuse to respond to you in the same manner you respond to me.
Okay.
And that's just the difference between us. But from a book entitled What on Earth is an Atheist by Madeline Murray O'Hare, she says we atheists try to find some basis of rational thinking on which we can base our actions and our beliefs, and we have it.
She doesn't use the word belief. I have copies of that book, which I'll be happy to send you. She does not.
We accept the technical philosophy of materialism. It is valid philosophy which cannot be discredited.
Word belief.
Essentially, materialism's philosophy holds that nothing exists but natural phenomena. Materialism is a philosophy of life and living according to rational processes with intellectual and other capabilities of the individual to be developed to the highest degree in a social system where this may be possible. There are no supernatural forces, no supernatural entities such as gods or heavens or hells or life after death. There are no supernatural forces, nor can there be. We atheists believe that nature simply exists. Matter is, material is, pages 40 through 43.
It doesn't say believe.
Now, basically what I'm saying is that if a person says, I believe in materialism, I accept materialism, that is in itself a belief. Now, if we want to get into a discussion of what Mr. Lynch has brought up in reference to whether a belief in theism is rational or atheism is rational, then that's fine. But I just want to make sure to lay the foundation that both of us are representing a worldview. One accepts materialism, another accepts theism. But those are still two competing worldviews, and they need to be treated as such.
Yes, they are two competing worldviews, and I think that the reason that you people feel so threatened by us atheists is because when we say there is no God, what that immediately means is that there's no rational basis or need for religion, and there is absolutely no reason why the church or religion in any form should have a voice in how our society is structured and run. That's where you're really coming from when you get right down to the central core of this issue, is that there is really no room or no need for you to be here.
Well, actually, the root core of the reason that a theist such as myself would take the time to enter into discussion such as this is due to the fact that I do believe that there is rational reason to believe in theism, and that there are many instances where theism is misrepresented in regards to what it teaches and what it believes. And I think when a public forum is opened up, such as we have here on KFYI, and I'm glad that FYI at least is brave enough to tackle subjects like this. There are other stations that won't talk about things like this, but
we know that.
Yes, that both viewpoints can be represented and presented to the audience, and we can discuss it in that way. And I would hope that is what we'll be able to do.
All right, we're going to take a break here, and we are going to come back. We're talking with Brian Lynch of the American Atheist Center and Jim White of Alpha and Omega Ministries.
Now, more Pop Talk with you and Tom Likas on FYI Radio 910. Get into the conversation. Call 258-KFYI. That's 258-5394. Once again, here's Tom.
424 FYI Radio 910. I'm Tom Likas, here every afternoon from 3 until 7 o'clock. FYI Radio is your weather station, and meteorologist Sam Vincent is calling for some evening clouds, otherwise fair, and a low in the upper 60s. Tomorrow and Wednesday, variable, mainly high clouds, little temperature change. High both days in the mid-90s. Low Wednesday morning in the upper 60s. Right now, 17% humidity. Partly cloudy skies, 95 degrees at FYI Radio 910. 258-5394 is our telephone number. The phone's starting to light up, and we'll get to everybody as we progress here. 258-5394. I just had an argument with an operator on the phone. One day I'm going to do a show on this, okay? So Mountain Bell operators, beware. It's coming later this week. I'm going to describe my attempts to make phone calls Unreal. Jim, I wanted to ask you this one question, and again, I'm only asking from my own perspective, and I'm trying not to get involved in this debate here. I'm going to leave it to you two guys, but it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that folks who fervently believe in religion are troubled by atheists to the point where they, if not feel threatened by atheists, certainly want to make every effort they can to turn an atheist into something he or she is not. Would that be accurate?
Well, I think what you're describing is the fact that, and normally you're talking reference to Christians when you're talking about a religious person. I don't think I've ever heard you talking about a Quran thumper before. I've never heard that on. Have you ever heard of a Quran?
Well, the Quran is not thumped on this show too
okay,
often.
all right. Well, I just
There are
thought.
Quran thumpers.
Oh,
but
I'm sure there are.
They're not in the United States for the most part.
I'm aware, but Tom.
I have had the Baha'i faith after me, though.
Okay,
I want to tell you.
Okay. But in reference to your question, I think that yes, it is true that people who would take the Christian viewpoint, obviously, as you have undoubtedly heard before, the Bible commands Christians to share their faith. I don't see that atheism itself has a huge flock of Christians following it around, at least the Christians that I know. There are obviously certain people, but I don't see it as being the largest subject on the chopping block. And so actually, many atheists will tell you that they are in a vast minority, and they do not receive as much attention as I actually feel that they probably should, because they bring up many interesting facets, many interesting things that I feel that especially a Christian should be prepared to deal with, should think through on their own grounds, should examine the information that's brought forward, and take a look at it. And unfortunately, that's normally not done a whole lot. So in answer to your question, yeah, there are a lot. I don't think it's really because of fear, as you would describe it. And it certainly isn't in my case. Mine is more in an evangelical, interesting way. Okay, it's an interest of mine.
Why is it that Christians not only seem to exhibit some sort of uneasiness around atheists, but also go to the point of trying to convert them?
Well, like I said, a Christian will try to convert anybody. It's sort of built in with the system.
With the territory,
it comes with the territory, and I'm first one to admit that. When you say uneasy, actually, to be perfectly honest with you, Tom, if the first 20 minutes of this program were indication, I'm not uneasy. I don't have to worry about this.
Well, you've been around me before. You know me, Jim. You don't have to worry about.
That's true, but Tom, you can't make yourself